You wanted to be acknowledged, respected, and desired by women. Then someone with a bald head told you be quiet around them, stop caring, disappear from society, and buy my online course so you can finally earn respect, acknowledgement, and love. And you listened. You went silent. You hid behind Sigma memes, convincing yourself you didn't need connection, but deep down, you felt the emptiness. Now, no one notices you. No one's chasing you. No one's even talking about you when you leave the room. And here's the part you never saw coming. The longer you stay invisible, the more the world forgets about your existence. This reason lies in human psychology, and today, I'll break down why Sigma males are not naturally charismatic, the personality that makes people crave you. You'll understand how this Sigma mindset kills social magnetism rather than creates it.
So hit subscribe, and let's dive into our point.
The first reason is that they mistake avoidance for confidence. Most self-proclaimed Sigma males believe that keeping their distance makes them appear powerful, sophisticated, and hard to get, when, in reality, psychology shows that it often signals the very opposite. In deep social psychology, avoidance behavior isn't seen as a form of power, it's seen as a coping strategy. The Sigma mentality of emotional detachment may feel like strength on the inside, but on the outside, it's often read as fear of intimacy, social anxiety, or low social investment. People don't chase what feels disconnected from them, they chase what feels magnetically present. Charisma isn't about being emotionally separate, it's about being emotionally electric. The truly charismatic man may be calm and composed, but he's not emotionally absent. Instead, he builds micro-connections with everyone around him. He uses subtle vulnerability, playful curiosity, and emotional openness to make others feel seen in his presence. That's what lights up the brain's reward system in social interaction. Not mysterious silence, but emotionally stimulating exchange. The Sigma mindset often mistakes social restraint as confidence, but in behavioral psychology, real confidence is displayed through expansive behavior, speaking openly, maintaining direct eye contact, taking up space, smiling slowly, telling stories, and allowing people into your emotional world. These are signals of high social comfort. These are signals that broadcast I am safe, I am powerful, and you will feel good around me. When men suppress emotion under the banner of independence, they unknowingly shut off their most charismatic weapon, emotional resonance. Charisma is not a game of hiding. It's a game of managing and projecting. Your job isn't to conceal. Your job is to transmit. Great historical leaders, and even modern icons like Craig Ferguson, didn't gain influence by keeping people at arm's length. They did it by allowing people into their emotional energy, while still holding strong boundaries. In short, avoidance may protect your ego, but it does not build your aura. If you want to be truly charismatic, replace that Sigma-style detachment with bold transparency, emotional intelligence, and the courage to be seen. And once a Sigma man starts mistaking emotional avoidance for confidence, another deadly illusion creeps in, which leads to the second reason. Reason 2, they give off disinterested, not mysterious vibes. In social psychology, mystery is a powerful magnetic tool. It teases the brain, stimulates curiosity, and pulls people deeper. But there's a fine line between being intentionally mysterious and looking like you simply don't care. Many Sigma male types unknowingly cross that line. In their attempt to maintain an aura of enigmatic independence, they end up projecting a very different psychological signal, disinterest. Here's the core issue. The human brain is wired to respond to social rewards. When someone's energy feels warm, attuned, and slightly elusive, that's mystery. It activates the seeking system in the brain, prompting fascination and desire. But when that energy is flat, expressionless, or emotionally unavailable, that's disinterest. It triggers social rejection cues such as, he's not invested, he doesn't value me, there's no emotional payoff here. The Sigma archetype, which glorifies stoicism and zero emotional display, often ends up signaling rigidity instead of intrigue. They stand with arms crossed, smiles suppressed, voices monotone, eyes drifting as if nothing around them is worth their emotional effort. And people subconsciously read that not as power, but as a social failure to connect. Charisma, on the other hand, is fundamentally about managing emotional timing. A charismatic man absolutely uses mystery, but he blends it with warmth. He might hold back, but his eyes sparkle. His body language stays open. His interest is clear. He gives just enough to ignite your curiosity, then pulls back to let your imagination work. That's a carefully orchestrated behavioral pattern, not just emotional laziness disguised as Sigma minimalism. True mystery whispers, there's more here, but you'll have to earn it. Disinterest shrugs, there's nothing here. Don't bother. The first creates pull. The second pushes people away. So if a man wants to be magnetic, he must stop overdosing on emotional detachment. A splash of playful ambiguity creates a seductive psychological puzzle, but to be felt as charismatic, he must allow access points, a subtle smile, a compliment, a story, a moment of engaged attention. Coldness doesn't make you high value. It just makes people stop trying. In short, Mystery requires emotional aliveness. Without that, the Sigma aura becomes repellent, stiff, and forgettable. Everything charisma is not. And once a Sigma man starts confusing disinterest for mystery, another silent killer starts showing its teeth, which leads us directly into the third reason. Reason 3. They don't transmit emotion, so they never create energy. In psychology, charisma is classified as a form of emotional contagion, meaning highly charismatic people infect the room with emotion. They raise the energy. They shift your internal state just through their presence and expression. But here's where Sigma males fall apart. The Sigma archetype prides itself on being collected, stoic, and unshakable. In practice, however, this often causes men to suppress their emotional output. Their facial expressions stay minimal, their vocal tone stays flat, and gestures are stiff or non-existent. It might feel like calm power from the inside, but from the outside, this suppresses the number one psychological requirement of charisma: state transfer. When you talk to a charismatic man, you feel something: excitement, tension, curiosity, amusement, even inspiration. That emotional ping lights up your mirror neurons, and your nervous system syncs to his. That creates the experience people describe as electric, magnetic, or he has an aura. Sigma males rarely create that, because in their attempt to remain unmoved, they stop projecting any emotional signal strong enough to be picked up by other people's nervous systems. In short, they feel flat. Psychologically, flat effect is not read as mysterious confidence, it's read as social dullness. You become someone people are fine being around, but never someone they remember. You melt into the background. Charisma demands movement. Even the calmest charismatic personalities use subtle facial movements, micro-expressions, slow smiles, pauses, eyebrow lifts, voice variation, all to transmit internal emotion outward. It's about controlled expression, not total suppression. And that's where Sigma males often misunderstand the game. They think expressing emotion is a weakness. The truth? Controlled emotional expression is elite power. It makes people sink to you, feel safe with you, and become psychologically bonded without even realizing why. So if a man wants true charisma, the kind that changes the temperature of any room, he must stop hoarding emotion like a secret bank vault. Because the psychology is simple. No emotional transmission leads to no emotional connection, and this leads to no charisma. And once a Sigma man stops transmitting emotion and flattening his energy, he unknowingly strips himself of the one thing all charismatic men possess: influence. Which brings us to the fourth reason. Reason 4. They obsess over independence. But charisma is about influence. Most Sigma males worship independence. I don't rely on anyone. I walk my own path. Strong mindset for personal discipline. Terrible mindset if you want to be captivating. Because from a psychological standpoint, charisma is not built on independence. It is built on influence. Influence means your words, moods, and presence shape other people's internal worlds. It's about being a catalyst for transformation. When a man is charismatic, people naturally want to follow him, mirror him, and impress him, because he shifts how they feel about themselves and the world. Sigma males rarely do that, not because they lack power, but because they refuse to wield it. They take pride in being untouched and unaffected. As a result, they also remain uninfluential, emotionally, socially, psychologically. Psychology research on leadership and magnetism shows that influential people use 5 core traits: emotional vividness, social warmth, status assertion, story-driven communication, and behavioral flexibility. Sigma men rarely tap into these. They stay locked in my way or nothing. That rigidity cuts down their charismatic bandwidth. It's like trying to be a world-class musician but refusing to touch any instrument except one basic drum. Influence requires social engagement, noticing people's emotions, adjusting your energy, knowing when to push, when to pull, when to create tension, and when to release. Charismatic men dance in that space. Think Robert Downey Jr., Keanu Reeves, Kobe Bryant in interviews. They adapt to the room to set the tone, not just exist independently inside it. Independence is a shield. Influence is a blade. The shield keeps you safe. The blade shapes reality. Sigma males over-rely on the shield. Charismatic men master both. So if a man wants to be truly unforgettable, he must be willing to play the influence game. Not manipulation, leadership. Not neediness, deliberate emotional impact. Influence says, I am here to move you. Charisma says, you will remember me because I changed your state. Sigma energy just says, I won't bother you. And that's not magnetic, that's forgettable. And once a Sigma man locks himself into rigid independence, refusing to engage or lead emotionally, he closes the door on his greatest vulnerability, the very vulnerability that builds deep, lasting charisma. That brings us to the final reason. Reason 5. They avoid vulnerability, but charisma is built on it. Many Sigma males pride themselves on being impenetrable. They don't open up. They don't reveal weakness. They don't show deep emotion. On the surface, this looks like strength, but in psychology, That pattern is classified as emotional avoidance, and it is one of the biggest charisma killers. Here's why. Charisma isn't just about how powerful someone seems, it's about how much people feel connected to them emotionally. That connection is formed through shared vulnerability. When a man is willing to reveal parts of himself, his fears, passions, flaws, quirks, he sends a strong unconscious message: I am safe with myself, therefore you are safe with me. This instantly creates emotional intimacy. It lowers defense mechanisms in others, increases trust, and creates a psychological bond. That's why charismatic men can talk about their failures, laugh at themselves, tell personal stories, and people fall in love with them for it. Sigma males rarely do this. Their refusal to show vulnerability creates a glass wall between them and everyone else. People might respect their independence, but they never feel emotionally tethered to them. And without that tether, charisma cannot lock in. Sigma men, trying to be untouchable, often end up looking emotionally numb. That's not power, it's distance. And distance repels connection. The psychology here is simple. Humans are wired for emotional co-regulation. We feel safe and connected when someone truly reveals what's going on internally. When a man hides everything, we subconsciously mark him as unsafe, because we don't know who he really is. Charismatic men don't just impress you, they make you feel seen, while simultaneously letting you see them. That mutual exposure is charisma's hidden heartbeat. So, if a man truly wants to ignite his aura, he should stop trying to be untouchable and start being unapologetically real, because the moment people feel your heart is the moment you start controlling theirs. Here's the truth every Sigma male needs to hear: independence alone doesn't make you magnetic. You can be mysterious and stoic, yet still remain invisible in any room. True charisma is about connection, not avoidance. It's about opening just enough to invite influence, emotional energy, and trust. Imagine becoming the man who not only walks his own path but lights the way for others to follow. The man whose presence shifts the atmosphere and whose words move people. This isn't weakness, it's ultimate strength. If you want to be unforgettable, stop hiding behind the Sigma myth. Start practicing emotional expression, influence, and vulnerability. Charisma isn't a trait you're born with, it's a skill you build, one authentic interaction at a time. If you're ready to stop blending into the background and start owning your true magnetic power, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Drop a comment below telling me which of these charisma blockers you're ready to demolish first.